Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be talking about my 2024 wrap up and all the books I read last year. We're going to be putting my books into some categories by using the tier maker. I've been seeing some channels do this and I thought it was such a fun idea, so let's do it. Okay, so here's my chart and the categories I chose. So the first one being from the top is obviously God tier. Like these are the books that I want to be buried with. It's like 6-star reads. Then we have the second category, which is 8 and Slade. No notes. I love these books. I probably gave these books 5 stars. Next category is She's a Good Girl. I would recommend. This is probably my 4-star reads. I love them. There was some things that, you know, were kind of missing, but overall it's a good read. The next category is She's mid, but we can vibe. You know, there were some things that I didn't like, but you know, I vibed with it. I didn't hate it, didn't love it. It's an in between. The next category is She's a warm pillow on a soggy day. So I think that tells you pretty much I didn't really like it. It was kind of eh. The next one is Should Have DNF'd. Also the last one is I Said Burn It. Okay, so the first book we have is Ruthless Vows. Really love this one, obviously. It wrapped up Divine Rivals so good. Perfect ending to this duology. It made me sob so hard. So I think it's gonna go in the 8 and Slade no notes because I did love Divine Rivals more. So it's not God tier to me. Next book is Then She Was Gone. I'm gonna put this one in also the 8 and Slade because this one was it's a missing person mystery. It broke my heart and made me sob so bad. I expect to feel so many feelings while reading this book. So the next one is Oh My God. I forgot I read this one and I did not like this one at all. I'm definitely gonna put her in She's a Warm Pillow on a Soggy Day. I just didn't get it. I didn't like it. Didn't like the characters were so insufferable to me. Was not a fan of this one. Next one is The Summer Will Be Different. Enjoyed The Summer Will Be Different, but there's just some aspects of the book I didn't really like. So it's a good book and I would still recommend it, but Every Summer After will always be my favorite. Lonely for You Only. I'm gonna put this in She's mid, but we can vibe. It was a good book. It was good, it was fun, but it wasn't memorable in any way. The next book is Where's Molly? So this one was one of my most anticipated reads because I really enjoyed the cat and mouse duet, but this one, I liked it, I enjoyed it, but I wish it was longer and I wasn't very satisfied with the ending. So I think I'm gonna put She's a Good Girl and I would recommend, but I have notes. Things I would change about this book. Next one is The Invisible Girl. I think this was my first Lisa Jewell book and it was such a fun read. It made me, I feel like it really opened my eyes to the world and I really liked it. So I think I'm gonna put it in She's a Good Girl. Next one is Wildfire. I love this one. Honestly, I loved it way better than Icebreaker. I feel like Icebreaker was overly long and I just kind of got bored towards the end, but Wildfire, I was obsessed with Aurora and what's his name? Oh my god. It's Aurora and Russ. I don't know why I was thinking of Rufus. Don't mind me. But anyway, this book 8 and Slade, I have no notes. It was so good. Just way better than Icebreaker. Haunting Adeline. Definitely an 8 and Slade, no notes. My first H.D. Carlton book was Does It Hurt? And I really enjoyed that one. So obviously I had to read Haunting Adeline and I thought it was really good. I know it's controversial, but personally, I loved it. I don't care. I loved it. Next book is, oh my god, Brutal Prince. No. Guys, I really enjoy Sophie Lark's books, but I went into this one with such high hopes. This is marketed as like a dark mafia romance and I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be like the hottest thing I've ever read. It was so bad. The main character, are you a mafia man and such a whiny wussy? Like I don't get it. I really hated him. I was like, stand up dude, like you're literally in the mafia. Why are you such a wimp? I literally did not like him. I'm sorry, this was a soggy warm pillow. I could not. This one was a Cupid romance. I decided to read for Valentine's Day. It was okay. I think I'm gonna put it in a Should Have DNF'd it because I remember being very bored when I was reading it. Finally, a good one. The rom-commers. Love this one. This one was my first romance in 2024 and oh my god, it was so good. This is definitely God tier. It made me laugh, it made me cry, it made me so emotional. I love the romance so much. Like, it was so good. There Are No Saints. You know, this was a Sophie Lark book that I actually really enjoyed. I gave it 5 stars. It was just so much fun. It's like a stalker with like serial killers and just, you know, it's a really fun dark romance and I think it 8 and Slade. So far, we're looking really good and I'm having so much fun doing this whole tier making thing. Okay, next, ooh. This is a controversial one, Powerless. See, when I first read Powerless, I thought that it was too much like Hunger Games and The Red Queen, and I did not like that too much, but I still had a fun time. I was like, you know what, whatever. I gave it 3 stars. But now after all the controversy I've seen of the author and, you know, Victoria Aveyard, I just can't. Like, you can be inspired by other books, but copy and pasting? No, absolutely not. The amount of times I was reading Powerless and I was like, wait, this is exactly like the Hunger Games. This is exactly like the Hunger Games. Left me feeling kind of, you know, turned off a little bit. So this is definitely going to be in the warm pillow. The next book is this small town little romance called Stay With Me. This was a good time. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I think she's a good girl. I really liked it. It was really fun. The romance. Oh my god. The Wingman. Okay, this is the 3rd book in the Vancouver Storm series. And I loved the first 2 books in the series, Behind the Net and The Fake Out. The Fake Out was my favorite, but this one was such a letdown. I'm gonna put she's a warm pillow. Like, I just, yeah. She didn't hit like I wanted her to hit. Comfort Me with Apples. This was the weirdest book I've read. I literally had no clue what was going on. I read this on audiobook, but I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I think she's a good girl. Like, I really loved that one. Okay, next one. This is a good one. Fangirl by Tessa Bailey. I loved this one. I love Tessa Bailey books, but this one, I don't know what she put in this book, but I absolutely adored it. It was so fantastic. This is definitely God tier. This is one of my favorite books. It's like a golfing romance, and I've never read a golfing romance, and I feel like the romance was just so unique and so much fun. I love the characters so much. Riley Sager book, Middle of the Night. I really enjoyed this one. I'm gonna put she's a good girl. Riley Sager's writing has improved so much in his latest release. I thought it was amazing. I just loved it so much. I thought it was such a good book. Check and Mate. This is Ali Hazelwood's YA romance, and honestly, I liked it, but I kind of wasn't a huge fan of it. So I think I'm gonna put it in she's mid, but we can vibe. Like, it was a good book, but it definitely wasn't my favorite. I liked the romance, but I just wasn't a huge fan of the plot. I just was kind of bored, to be honest. Ooh, The Housemaid is Watching. I did not like this one. Honestly, I feel like Frida McFadden is just overstretching the Housemaid series. I'm gonna put that in should have DNF'd because that was just so bad. I'm sorry. The plot was just so mediocre for a Frida McFadden book. Next one, The Sundown Motel. I really enjoyed this one. I'm gonna say she is a good girl. Perfect amount of like mystery and creepy. This one was very much like A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, but with ghosts. Hunting Adeline. Ooh, I love this one. It really traumatized me, but it ate and slayed. This one is The Dairy Girls. I really enjoyed this one. It's my first Sally Hempworth book, and I really enjoyed the characters so much. The plot was so good. It broke my heart, so I'm gonna put it in she's a good girl. Not in Love. I really love this Ali Hazelwood book. It made me really depressed. I feel like Ali Hazelwoods are usually feel good and funny. This one was more serious and had more emotional, deeper topics, and I really enjoyed it. People wanted Ali Hazelwood to be different, and she did different, and she did it so good. So I'm gonna put this one in Ate and Slayed. His and Her World. This book was so wild, and I'm so happy this is being turned into a TV show because I really loved it. I'm gonna put it in Ate and Slayed. It was so good. Risk. I love this book. This is reminding me I need to finish this series. I'm on book 4. I don't know why I stopped because I was loving these books. I gave them all 5 stars, so I'm gonna put this in Ate and Slayed. The Dixon Rule. Yes! Oh my god, finally. This was so good. Dixon Rule is probably my favorite Elle Kennedy book, so this is definitely God tier. I literally sobbed the last 100 pages. It broke my heart to pieces, and I love the characters so much. The Book of Cold Cases. This was good, but I didn't really enjoy the build-up of the mystery, so I'm between putting it in good girl and she's mid. I think I'm gonna put it in she's mid too. I did prefer other books. The Graham Effect. See, The Graham Effect I enjoyed. Debating putting it into she's a good girl and she's mid. I just feel like Dixon Rule kind of blew it out of the park and just left The Graham Effect kind of being kind of mid for me. So I think I'm gonna, I'm gonna put her in she's a good girl. Cause it's still good. It's still a good book. Just not my favorite. The Christmas Wager. This was such a fun Christmas book. I read it in like on audiobook form, and it was so good. There was so much drama happening in this book. The characters will frustrate you and you'll be like, what are you doing? But honestly, I had such a good time. I'm gonna put in she's a good girl. Next book is Good Bad Girl by Alice Feeney. I really enjoyed this one. I'm gonna put in she's a good girl. This one was very character centered, and I really enjoyed it. Oh my god, Deadly Occupants. This one was so good. I did not expect to love this one as much as I did. It is a haunted house book, and it was so good. It's definitely Ate and Slayed. There Is No Devil. So this was a sequel to There Is No Saints, and honestly, this was a letdown. I think I'm gonna put it and she's mid. I don't regret reading it, but it just wasn't what I thought it would be, and I was a little bored while reading it. Powerful. I read this because Powerless didn't really impress me, so I was like, you know, I'm gonna read the sequel, like the little novella, and I loved Powerful so much. It literally made me sob even though I knew how it was gonna end, but it was like torture and it was so good. I'm gonna put She Slayed. I don't think I'm gonna continue the series and read Reckless because again the author is kind of just, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of the author. One by One. This was a good winter thriller. I'm gonna put in She's a Good Girl. I would recommend. Lock Every Door. This was a crazy thriller too. Ending for this book I did not expect at all. It was very crazy, and honestly I was very shocked by the ending, and I actually really liked it. I know some people did not like the ending, but I did. She's a Good Girl. I would recommend. Heartless. Yes, yes, yes. This is definitely going into the God tier because Kate Eaton lives in my mind rent free. He's the hottest cowboy I've ever seen in my life. Murder Road. This was my first Simone St. James book, and it was so good. I really enjoyed it. This one ate and slayed. I love the characters. I love the ghosts. It was so good. Survived a Night. I think I'm gonna put She's mid, but kind of a vibe because I enjoyed it, but the main character will drive you insane. She has such bad decision making skills. I literally wanted to shake her. I was like, girl, what are you doing? And also the plot twist was really predictable, so I wasn't really a fan of that. Last Time I Lied, another Riley Sager book. I'm gonna put this one, She's a Good Girl. I really love the summer camp setting, and I really love the plot and the found family trope. It was so good in this one. Unfortunately Yours. Oh my god, this one was so cute. The romance, oh, I died for these characters, and this is definitely ate and slayed. Marriage of Convenience will always be a superior trope. I just love it. Another good one. We're going on a great streak right now. The only one left, definitely God tier. This is my favorite Riley Sager book, and I absolutely loved it. The plot twists were crazy, and I adored this book. Icebound. I think I'm gonna put it in She's mid, but we can vibe, because it was a good hockey book, but not very memorable. Bourbon and Secrets. This is definitely like the sexiest book I've ever read. She's a burlesque dancer, and he makes bourbon. And there's like a whole like murder mystery plot, and it was just so good. I would give this ate and slayed. The cover deserves its own rating of 5 stars. To Bleed a Crystal Bloom. This was so good. This is like a dark retelling of Rapunzel, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't expect to love it as much as I did, so I'm gonna put it in ate and slay because I'm really excited to read book 2. Bourbon and Lies. Oh my god, this was so good. This was crazy. So I'm definitely going to put this in the God tier. Falling for Meadow. This was good. It's like a single mom, second chance, childhood friends to lovers romance, and it really pulled on my heartstrings. It was really good. Flawless. This one was very cute. I love Rhett so much. He's like my little himbo. I adored him. So this is definitely going into She's a Good Girl. I would recommend. Homebound. See this one? This one is so good. The single dad, she's a bull rider, which I absolutely loved. I've never seen a female bull rider before, and that definitely like intrigued me, and the romance was so good. I'm gonna put this in the ate and slayed. Belladonna. This is my favorite fantasy book so far. I am obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with death so much. This is definitely ate and slayed. Merry Ever After. Oh my god. This is a controversial one because this book was getting slaughtered on Goodreads. It has like a 2-star rating. I just don't get why. I had a fun time reading it. I don't know. I feel like if you've read Tessa Bailey books, you know she's a little cringe. You know she's a little wild and crazy. And I feel like, honestly, I don't feel like she deserves a 2-star rating. Tessa Bailey is my rom-com queen. I gave her 4 stars, so she's definitely a good girl, and I would recommend it for Christmas. Finale. Honestly, I'm a little debating with Finale because I loved Carval so much. The characters are amazing. I love Donatella and Scarlet and Legend. I really loved the first half of this book, but I do feel like the second half kind of fell apart a little bit. I just wasn't a big fan of the ending. I found it a little unsatisfying. The villain was very disappointing. So I think I might put She's mid, but I still love Carval as a whole. The Carval series was just so good and so magical. I loved it. The Nightmare Before Christmas. This was such a cute Christmas book. Oh my god. Definitely will make you laugh till you cry. It is so funny. It is so good. I'm definitely gonna put it in the ate and slayed. It was my favorite Christmas book. Wyatt. So this is the second book of the Lucky Rivers Ranch series. Wyatt was a super cute read. I love Wyatt as a character, but his book wasn't my favorite. Like, it was good. I think I'm just gonna put it as good girl. I would recommend. This book is Gallant, so like my favorite book of the year. So that's definitely going into the God tier. Amazing, fantastic. You must read this book. YA, gothic fantasy. It will break your heart, to be honest. Like, it made me cry at the end. It's a wonderful crime of the year. Oh my god, this was so good. If you like a Christmas book that's not like Christmas on crack, you just want like a little fun like Christmas vibes that's like fun but not like overly in your face, I feel like this is such a good one, and I really love this one. I feel like the characters were so funny. The love interest was so hot and so flirty. Like, he made me blush. I was like in love with him. Sometimes I lie. So this was crazy and weird, and the plot went in a direction that was wild, but honestly, like, I liked it. Put in She's a Good Girl. Like, it was a crazy book, but I love it. I love that it was crazy. The Teacher, I really enjoyed. It was actually one of my favorites of the year. I loved how crazy it was. It was like disgusting, but the plot twist at the end was so good. I put it in 8 and Slade. The Boyfriend. See, I was looking forward to this book for so long because I was like, I read The Housemaid Was Watching and I was like, oh, that was bad. The boyfriend's gonna eat so hard. And it did not eat. I did not like the ending of it. Like, I feel like it was this really dumb ending. So I think I'm gonna put it, she's mid, but we can vibe. The build-up was good, but the ending was just terrible. Powerless, oh my god. I feel like Jasper and Sloane are the most underrated couple in Chestnut Springs. I don't know why they get a bad rep, because I love this book. Maybe because I like men who are tortured and sad, but I really loved it. This was Slade and 8. The Only Survivor. See, this one, I did not like this one too much. I feel like if I wasn't buddy reading it at the time, I would have DNF'd it, so I'm gonna put in I should have DNF'd. The build-up of the plot was just really boring, and I was like, what is happening? Like, why? Where's the thriller? There's no thrill in this thriller. My Best Friend's Exorcism. I didn't expect to love this book as much as I did. This was so crazy. If you love campy horror kind of books, this takes place in the 80s, and like Exorcism is like, you love this book. It was so good. There was a scene that happened that was kind of like, that was really questionable. It's like, what am I reading? Like, this is really concerning. I feel like that scene wasn't really necessary. Okay, The Old Pair Affair. So this is the second book in the Fangirl Down. So I love the Fangirl Down. Give it 5 stars, best book ever. And then I read the sequel and I did not really enjoy it. It was just so, it was kind of boring. I was really bored while reading it. And the romance, I did not expect how traumatizing this book would be. It just wasn't my favorite. So I'm gonna put it, she's mid, but we can vibe. I was a little disappointed because I loved the Fangirl Down so much. See you at the finish line. It's like a running romance, but honestly, I was not expecting it to have such emotional depth. Like, it actually broke my heart a little bit. So I'm gonna put she's good, and I would recommend. You with a View. Ooh, this one was so good. I love this one. I put in the 8 and Slade. I really loved it so much. I was gonna put it in God tier, but I feel like I don't think about it that much to put it in God tier, so I'm gonna leave it at 8 and Slade. The cover is absolutely beautiful. Foxglove. I love this one. This is the best sequel I've read in a while. Definitely going in the 8 and Slade. September House. Oh my god. This was such a good horror book. Love haunted houses, and this one was just so good. So I'm gonna put it in 8 and Slade. So it's getting really long, so it's getting hard to put all the books onto the thing. So if you're seeing me put it somewhere else first, that is why, because it's kind of hard to scroll. Is Home Before Dark. I really enjoyed this one. If you like supernatural kind of horror with a little twist, I recommend this one. So I'm gonna put it, She's a Good Girl. Chase It Forever. Oh my god, this is so cute. This is like a single dad, he's a widow romance, and she's a nanny running away from her life and trying to build herself a new life. It was very cute. I'm gonna put She's a Good Girl. Oh, For Better and Hurts. This was really good. I love the banter in this book. So I'm gonna put her in 8 and Slade. No notes. This one, The Haunting of Aveline Jones. I love this one. It's a YA supernatural book, and the mystery vibes were so good. I'm gonna put 8 and Slade because I absolutely loved it. It's been a while since I read a middle grade book, and this one was just so good. Incidents Around the House. I thought this book was so unique. It takes place in the perspective of a child. So the child is telling the story of what's happening, monster that's haunting her. I wasn't a huge fan of the ending, so I'm gonna put She's a Good Girl, but the ending was not my favorite. Carving for Kara. Oh my god, I read this for Halloween with a friend and it was so bad. Honestly, if I wasn't buddy reading it, I would have DNF'd it. I hate the characters, I hate the love interest. He just, oh god, he icked me so bad. Done and Dusted. Okay, so we're back to some cute little books. So Done and Dusted was super cute. I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna put it in She's a Good Girl. I just thought it was a really quick and fun read. The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I was so excited to read this in the fall. Thought it was gonna be a 5-star read, but no, it was so bad. This is a warm pillow. It was so bad. I feel like I gave it 3 stars because I read it in October and it kind of fit the vibe of the season. If I didn't, I would have definitely have given this book like 2 stars. The Night She Disappeared. This is my next Lisa Jewell book and I really enjoyed it, but I was not a fan of the ending. So I think I'm gonna put it in She's Midweek and Vibe. Brain Damage. Okay, this is the Frida McFadden book that I didn't really want to read because I didn't like the cover, but when I picked it up, I actually really enjoyed it. I feel like it's so different from her other books. It was so good. I'm gonna put it in She's a Good Girl. Wild Love. Ooh, so after coming off Chestnut Spring series, like after reading Heartless, I found out that Wild Love is about Willa's brother. So I was like, oh my god, I love Willa. I need to read her brother. So I picked this up and I did not like it. I thought it was really boring. I did not like the characters. I thought they were so childish and immature. I didn't really like the plot. So I think I'm between She's Mid and She's a Warm Pillow. I gave it 3 stars, but I think I'm gonna put She's a Warm Pillow. I just feel like Elsie Silver just didn't slay with that one. So let's finish last few books. We have here Playmaker, which was such a cute college sports romance. Takes place during spring break, so it's going to go into Good Girl category. Next we have Close Call. This is another college sports romance, and if you want some like good representation with like chronic fatigue and like older sibling syndrome, you should definitely read this. So it's definitely going into the Good Girl category again. Oh my god. The Coworker. Again, Frida McFadden was not treating me good this year. I did not really like most of the books she was putting out, and The Coworker was one of them. I don't know if I should put it in a DNF or Warm Pillow, but I think I'm gonna put it in DNF because I was just not enjoying this book at all. Next book is such a good read. It's called The Devil in Every Corner. It's like a supernatural kind of vibe, like family business, hunting monsters, and it was so good. I literally like laughed so hard while reading this. It's definitely going in the She's a Good Girl. So another Christmas novella. This one is What's It Gotta Do to Get on the Naughty List. I really like this author's monster romances, and this one was just such a cute, fun, hilarious Christmas read. It's definitely going into Good Girl category. Last book, we have Made It, and it is Wild Eyes, my favorite book. I have been looking for my girl. She's finally here. It is definitely going into the God tier category. If you've watched my other videos, this was my favorite book of the year, and obviously I loved it so much. Weston Belmont is the love of my life. So this is the end of my video. This is what my whole ranking looks like. 2024 was such a good reading year. So yeah, I'm very happy with my reading. I feel like it was just such a good mix of romance, thrillers, horror. Thank you for watching. If you like my content, you should definitely go comment, like, subscribe, stay around. If you want to follow me on my social medias, on my Bookstagram, my Goodreads, the links are in my description box. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Bye guys!